Welcome to DigiState, where global politics, economics, and history come alive. In this video, we unravel the extraordinary political journey of Donald J. Trump, his blueprint for America, the escalating 2025 trade war, and his pivotal positioning on the ongoing Ukraine-Russia conflict. This episode is structured into 3 parts. Part 1, Donald Trump, Political History to Date. Part 2, The Businessman President, His Blueprint for America. Part 3, 2025 Trade War, Ukraine versus Russia, Trump's Influence on a Shifting World Order. Let's dive in. Part 1, Donald Trump, Political History to Date. Donald Trump, born June 14, 1946, was a businessman and television personality before reshaping American politics. In the 1980s and 1990s, Trump frequently hinted at political ambitions. He considered presidential runs under the Reform Party, but ultimately declined. It wasn't until June 16, 2015, descending the golden escalator at Trump Tower, that Trump formally announced his candidacy for the presidency as a Republican. 2016. Election victory. Trump campaigned on an America First platform, promising to build a wall on the U.S.-Mexico border, bring back manufacturing jobs, and shake up Washington. Defying polls and political pundits, Trump defeated Hillary Clinton, winning 304 electoral votes to Clinton's 227. Presidency, 2017 to 2021. Enacted sweeping tax reforms and deregulation. Renegotiated trade deals, e.g., USMCA replacing NAFTA. Strengthened the judiciary with 3 Supreme Court appointments. Pursued hardline immigration policies and an energy dominance agenda. Withdrew from the Paris Climate Accord and Iran nuclear deal. Initiated diplomatic overtures with North Korea. 2020 election loss and aftermath. Trump lost to Joe Biden but alleged widespread election fraud without conclusive evidence. His refusal to concede culminated in the January 6, 2021 Capitol riots, leading to his second impeachment, making him the only U.S. president impeached twice. Post-presidency influence. Trump retained significant influence over the Republican Party. He endorsed candidates across the U.S. and held massive rallies under the Save America banner. Announced his 2024 presidential campaign in November 2022, positioning himself again as the outsider fighting the deep state. 2024 election and return to power. Against mounting legal challenges, Trump reclaimed the Republican nomination and narrowly won the 2024 election, driven by economic discontent, immigration anxieties, and international instability. Now back in the Oval Office, Trump faces an even more complex and polarized world than he did in 2016. Part 2. The Businessman President, His Blueprint for America. Trump's vision remains rooted in the America First ideology, shaped by nationalism, economic sovereignty, and distrust of multilateralism. Key pillars of Trump's blueprint. 1. Economic revitalization and protectionism. Aggressive tax cuts for businesses and individuals. Deregulation across sectors, especially energy and finance tariff policies designed to protect American industries from unfair foreign competition. Promoting American-made goods and reshoring manufacturing jobs. 2. Strong borders and national security, finishing the construction of the southern border wall. Intensified vetting for immigration and refugee programs, expanding ICE operations and border patrol forces. 3. Energy independence and dominance. Expansion of oil, gas, and coal industries. Withdrawal from international climate agreements perceived as limiting American energy production. Focus on U.S. energy exports to leverage geopolitical power. 4. Reshaping global alliances. Decreasing financial commitments to NATO, unless allies meet their defense spending obligations. Prioritizing bilateral trade deals over multilateral agreements. Recalibrating U.S. foreign policy toward realist, transactional relationships. 5. Judicial conservatism. Commitment to appointing conservative judges. Advocacy for originalist interpretations of the Constitution. Trump's presidency is driven by executive action and a distrust of traditional diplomatic and bureaucratic structures. His philosophy, Government should be run more like a business leaner, tougher, and ruthlessly focused on American interests. Part 3. 2025. Trade War Ukraine versus Russia. Trump's influence on a shifting world order. The 2025 trade war, an escalating economic battlefield. Upon returning to power, Trump reignited trade tensions that had simmered during Biden's term. Key features of the 2025 trade war: heavy tariffs on Chinese goods, escalating retaliations between Washington and Beijing. New tariffs on European Union products, citing unfair digital taxes and agriculture subsidies. A renewed push for decoupling critical supply chains, especially in technology, pharmaceuticals, and rare earth metals from China. Trade restrictions extended to Mexico and Canada over disputes about labor and environmental provisions under USMCA. Global markets entered periods of volatility, with fears of a global economic slowdown growing by mid-2025. Trump framed the trade war as a necessary fight to secure American jobs and end foreign exploitation. Ukraine versus Russia. Trump's evolving stance. The Ukraine-Russia conflict remains one of the world's most volatile hotspots. Under Biden, billions were sent in military and humanitarian aid to Ukraine. NATO expanded military presence near Russia's borders. Under Trump 2.0, Trump dramatically scaled down direct U.S. military support to Ukraine, arguing that Europe must take primary responsibility for European conflicts. Pressured Ukraine to negotiate a ceasefire that would involve territorial concessions, particularly in eastern Ukraine, Donbass. Softened U.S. rhetoric against Russia, focusing instead on combating China as the primary global threat. Shifted American military priorities toward Indo-Pacific strategic competition. Trump's critics argue that this emboldened Russia and weakened the Western alliance, while supporters claim he is avoiding another endless war that drains American resources. The bigger picture. By mid-2025, the world is witnessing a shift. A more isolationist United States. An assertive China challenging U.S. influence globally. A fragmented NATO alliance debating its future direction. Trump's foreign policy philosophy remains clear. No more American blood for foreign wars. America's strength must be rebuilt at home first. Thanks for tuning in to DigiState, your trusted guide through the intricate web of global politics, economics, and history. If you enjoyed this deep dive, remember to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more clear, compelling explorations into the forces shaping our world. Until next time, stay informed, stay ahead,